So you're a professional man, an ambitious, driven man who is currently not fulfilling their potential in their personal life, currently frustrated with the options that are presented to you in the modern world. You have apps, you have the clubs, you might have heard of this thing called daytime approach, but at the moment, you feel stuck, you feel trapped, you feel boxed in. In this video, I'm going to explain to you my own method for 10xing your personal life, at least doubling the caliber and quality of women that you're interacting with, and completely revolutionizing your life in an incredibly short period of time. If you're a professional guy in his 30s, 40s, maybe even in your 20s, let's just think about the options that are currently available to you. So the dating app scene, we all know the statistics on these apps. 5% of the men are getting 90% of the options. And so even if you're a pretty good guy, even if you're top 20%, in all likelihood, maybe you're getting, a couple of matches a month with like literal threes. Okay, so that's just out of the window as an option. And it's frustrating. It feels like you're like a lion in a cage or behind a glass screen, and all of the action is out there in the wilds, and you're just kind of trapped. So that's the option in terms of apps. It's basically atrocious for guys. Clubs, I used to be a club promoter, so I know that scene very well, and it can be good. You can get options, but you're always limited to the girls that are in the clubs, which personally I found to be frustrating after a while. I actually realized I want to be able to chat to the girls in the mall. I wanted to be able to chat to the girls in the cafe. And eventually I started to actually transfer over to this type of approach. I think a lot of guys who hit the clubs eventually do become a little bit jaded with it. There's a lot of obstacles in your way. You've got loud music, so it's hard to have a conversation. So if you're an intelligent guy with good conversation, how can you make that connection? It's impossible. You've also got other guys around as well. You've got other guys going in for the girls. You're pretty much constantly having to handle drunken friends, big groups. The girls themselves are not often in their best state, they're maybe like having too much to drink and so on. So as a place to meet your future girlfriend, your future wife, is this really optimal? Is this really optimal? And all this makes me think about the modern world for guys, how it is kind of set up for them to fail. So if you're experiencing struggles in your personal life at the moment, and you look in the mirror and you go, surely I'm worth more than this. Like, is there something wrong with me? You look in the mirror thinking, am I ugly? Do I just not have enough money? Do I just not have enough social skills? And in all reality, the world as it stands is pretty much set up for you to fail. And that's where cold approach, daytime approach, going over to the girl organically, face to face, in the wilds, in nature, in malls, in cafes, in the streets. That is why this method of meeting women is so vastly superior to all of the other methods that are out there currently. So rather than meeting girls in this commodified way, where your own love life is commodified by an app or by bars, you're basically almost hijacking your personal life, I made the decision, and many other guys have made the decision, to leave all of that behind and start going out into the streets, going out into the cafes, going out into the malls, and just meeting women organically. And so if you've tried this, and maybe you have tried this, or maybe you want to go out and give it a try, a lot of guys, or everyone in fact, finds there's a whole new set of challenges with daytime approach. You want to approach the girl, she looks beautiful, she's got a beautiful dress on, hair's flowing, she looks absolutely gorgeous. And as you go over to her, all of a sudden, you feel this sense of inhibition. You feel your heart palpitating. You're getting a physical reaction. Your breathing starts to get tight. You feel stressed. All of this almost on autopilot. And Maybe you just let the girl go by because it just feels too much. It feels too pressurized. You have a spotlight effect on you when you want to go over to the girl. You feel under stress. And this is completely normal. It is actually to be expected. But what guys do is they go away, they go home, they feel deflated, they're downtrodden, and they're depressed about the fact there's seemingly no option available to them. So if these have been your experiences, I just want to tell you, there's nothing wrong with you. It is not your fault. As I mentioned, the world has almost been set up for you to fail. And it's no secret that both men and women are extremely dissatisfied with the current dating market, so to speak. One of the main issues guys have is simply getting enough numbers, simply actually setting up some dates. So they've got options. And in fact, really this is the biggest obstacle to having a fulfilling personal life. If you don't have any numbers, you're not texting anyone, you don't have any leads, for want of a better term, you're not going to have a good personal life. It's just that simple. And that's where Cold Approach really outperforms pretty much every other metric, pretty much every other way of meeting women. So just to introduce myself, I'm Joseph, Wingbro. On this channel I talk all things dating, but specifically Cold Approach related. So in my own life, as I mentioned, I used to be a club promoter, and eventually I transitioned my personal life out of the club scene. I wanted to actually meet, as I got older, I wanted to meet a serious girlfriend in a more natural environment. So I ended up doing many approaches, hundreds of approaches, getting trained, and actually becoming very proficient in the noble art of the daytime cold approach. And over the last year, I've been training other guys to do the same. A radically different framework for modern day dating. I'm here to transform you, or to help you to transform into what I would describe as a combination of a gentleman and an outlaw. All of this through organic, face-to-face interaction. There is no need to be anybody else. You can be yourself. All you need to do is update some mindsets that are holding you back. Perhaps many of them you don't even really know you have right now. You do need some skill and some technique in the approach itself. You need support, and you need to have proper expectation, but also positive goals. And as a coach, it's very likely that I can see in you potential you can't even see in yourself. This has been my experience so far with students, with clients, with people that I've assisted, is I'm able to see levels they can't even see. Maybe because they feel too beaten down by past failures in dating. And this transformation can be extremely quick. Most guys are feeling very different after day one of my program. And after a few days, their life is never going to be the same again. A recent client of mine trained with me just for a couple of days, and within a week, he was going out, meeting and seducing a beautiful new woman. This guy was in his early 20s. He had no experience with daytime approach. Another client very recently had a huge breakthrough moment when he was in a conversation with a girl. Everything was going well, and someone came over, the girl's friend came over and tried to interrupt the set, tried to interrupt and steal my client's thunder. But because he'd been getting used to becoming more assertive, getting used to actually speaking in public, he was able to navigate that situation with finesse, but also with authority. And he took the girl's number. So it was a great success. So I'm here to offer you my program, the Wingbro Solution. It begins with a call where I take a case history of your personal life, of how your dating has been over the last year. And we discuss any pitfalls or any potential issues that you've already been having. And we begin to strategize about how you're going to move forwards. The next phase is for us to organize an immersive program. So an immersion is where you come and work with me for several days, usually a 3-day program. And I put you through your paces in learning this new way of meeting women, because There are things obviously you have to get used to. There's things you have to get over. If you go out and try this alone, I mean, feel free to, but I think very quickly you'll realize there's a bit more to it than simply just go say hello. You have to really know how to carry these interactions forward and deal with challenging situations, objections, all these strange things that can come up out here in the wild. And after this 3-day immersive program, you'll already feel like a new man. You'll already have likely skyrocketed your options, sometimes even within the first day. That's happened before with people. You'll be approaching and meeting and connecting with more attractive girls than you'd ever thought possible. You'll be approaching women that you previously considered to be out of your league, and you'll actually be finding, hey, I'm getting some great interactions here. I'm beginning to get some traction here. What this can do for a man's self-image is really incredible. And after this 3-day immersion program, I also give you 90 days support, because it's not just a short-term program. We want to make sure that your skills are solidified over a long period of time. And so I give you support virtually for 90 days. And I'll be expecting students to be going out, running their own sessions, at least on a weekly basis after our immersion. And by this point, you'll have so many options in your dating life. You'll probably wonder, why didn't I do this before? Why I've been waiting all these years, going to clubs, going on apps, when all along the girls were right there, just waiting for me. So the kind of guy I'm looking for these programs is a guy who is actually willing to put in some effort, who's actually willing to get off his backside and go over and approach the girl, and is also willing to take feedback, and is happy and has a reasonable expectation that not every girl is going to drop on their knees and worship you. We're going to have a variety of different interaction. This summer, I'll be running programs out here in Belgrade, which is a beautiful city, an amazing place to come and do some cold approach with stunning girls and fantastic architecture, scenery, and a beautiful river Danube as well. As autumn comes around, I'll be taking immersions out in Latin America. So you're going to have options for the international-minded guy. You're going to have options with me, with European girls, and also Latinas as well. So all of that is on the table in the next few months. So places are limited. If you are interested in this program, if you want to take the step to transform from being afraid, from being disappointed, perpetually frustrated, to having more options than you know what to do with. And in all seriousness, the guys I've known who've taken this journey have completely transformed their lives. But you need to be with the right people. And you need to be, in my opinion, you need to be trained. So if you are interested in finding out more about the program and potentially coming out to work with me, I'll put the link in the description. We'll get on a call, calendly.com/wingbro, and we'll discuss a strategy for you to move forward in your dating life. So boys, I hope you're finding my channel useful. I hope you're getting plenty of applicable information from it. But ultimately, it's not more information you probably need. It's likely supervision. It's likely camaraderie. It's likely support. And if this is really something you want to do and you want to take to the highest of levels, then book a call and let's go. Summer's here. We've got 8 more weeks. Let's get rolling, boys.